If you're feeling that hip pinching pain when you're squatting, especially when you're lifting up your legs, there's some exercises that you should not do. And I'm gonna go over that and give you something better to do. And let's get right into that. So if you're dealing with some hip impingement, most of the time your hip joint will get impinged and your hip flexor will get caught into that hip socket. So what we don't want to do is irritate that joint and irritate your hip flexor. So doing exercise like this one right here, which is a seated good morning, will actually load that hip flexor even more. And as the more you do this, the more pinching you're gonna have because you don't have that much range of motion to free up your hip joint. So this is something I would avoid when you're dealing with some hip impingement and you're having hip pain. This is probably not the best if you have history of groin injury as well. So we're gonna give you something else that you can do to make it better. There's also another exercise I've seen people do all the time that actually makes symptoms a little bit worse. And I'm gonna show you what that one is, and we'll give you something else to do as well. Okay, another exercise that I don't love if you're having hip impingement is this table hip flexion. So when you do this, you're actually loading and engaging your hip flexor even more to pull into that joint, which will irritate the joint even more. And we don't want that at all. Because the joint and the tendon itself is already inflamed. We don't want to actually make it shorter. We actually want to lengthen it. So I'm gonna give you an exercise that actually can be better for your hips, give you more range of motion, and you can do that instead of doing this. Okay, so the exercise I'm gonna give you is gonna be eccentric hip lengthening. So all you do, you need a dumbbell right here to hold your foot in place. You're gonna hug this knee, the opposite knee. You're gonna slowly count to 5, and you're gonna slowly come down. And as you're doing this, you just feel this hip flexor, your quad lengthen, and you're gonna pull yourself back up. And we're gonna go sets of 8 to 12 here for 3 to 4 sets. As you're doing this, you should feel loosen up your hip flexor and your quads. And I would do this before any squatting activities. So you're actually gonna feel a lot better. You're gonna hit better depth when you're doing this. Another trick with this exercise is that if you have anterior knee pain and you're feeling the pain in front of your knee, it could be caused because of your hip flexor, your quad. So I would highly recommend give this a try as well. I'll do a few more. Nice and slow. Great. I actually have one more exercise for you as a bonus, and we're gonna get right into that one. All right, so for the bonus exercise, we're gonna go here. We're actually gonna do some core activation. So if you activate your deep core muscles along with your glutes, you're actually gonna free up that hip joint, and therefore you're not gonna have that pinching sensation in the front of your hips. So we're gonna go at 90 degrees on the knees, foam roller in between. And the key thing to this one is you wanna really push your lower back into the ground, right? So you tuck your pelvis a little bit right there, so you should feel your core engage. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna raise both my arms up like so, take a deep breath in, into my nose and out to my mouth. And as I breathe out, I really reach up and I push my lower back into the ground even more. And I'm gonna do this 10 times. And if you do this right, you should feel shaking at your core right here, because that's actually activating the core and give more room into your hip joint. Again, as I'm breathing out my mouth, I'm pretending I'm actually blowing air out. Pretend there's a ball right here, so I'm trying to get the ball up as high as I can. And I would do just 10 deep breaths here, okay? I'm gonna do 2 more. Think about reaching and pushing down, squeeze the foam roller. Great. And when you're done with that, do another test for your squat to see how good you feel. Hey, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And check out this video on hip impingement that we did. That's gonna help you solve your problem. And go to hip strengthening video so that way you can fix all your hips problem. And I'll see you next time.